Welcome to presenter Lenard Taylor, DTM. His speech is going to be the leader inside of you. The speech, a little background. We all need leaders, and they come from all walks of life. There's just one problem. A lot of us don't really know how to become an effective leader, influence people in life, in business, or any worthy causes. Today, Mr. Taylor is going to share some tools that will help people engage in this process. We'll discover the best talent within yourself, which to become an authentic leader inside of us. But first, let me give you a little background of Lenard Taylor. Lenard has been with several Fortune 500 organizations for 20 plus years and has experience in his career, steadily increasing with his job and success in life. He will share his insights about his own gifts and talents and the leader he has become and continues to find. With that, Mr. Taylor.
Thank you, Malcolm. The leader inside of you. Vince Lombardi said it with elegance, the Hall of Fame football coach. In order to achieve the anointing, the leadership inside of you, you must pursue excellence. And I'm paraphrasing. And in that realm, discovering the leader inside of you, the leader, there are all kinds of leadership paradigms. There's charismatic, there's visionary, there's democratic, strategic, and authentic. I'm going to talk about the authentic leader in you because that's where all styles of leadership come from. And as in the realm of all leadership, it involves taking risk. And authentic leadership is really a management style that's real, genuine, and sincere. It focuses on a mission. It focuses on results. And the leaders that culminate in the style really not only lead with their minds, but they lead with their heart because they are real with the group that they lead. And we want to be in that realm of leadership because it moves closely with your personality and what your strengths and weaknesses are. Let's talk about where your head and your heart are on the same page. What are your mental interests? For example, there's science and math and literature. You could be good in organization. You could be good in several areas of strength. Let's talk about your heart. What makes you smile? What activities bring the most joy in your life? Helping people, coaching people, or achieving that highest honor in your career? Just like the situation that we're in right now with COVID-19, leadership is necessary. Leadership was necessary to organize the medical teams that are out there fighting for our health and our safety. So the people in this field are really they exemplify leadership in science and biology, and they also have in their heart the ability that what brings them joy is the ability to help people. So that combination in that field makes it to the point where you don't work a day in your life, because you're doing something that your heart and your head can both wrap around. Let's talk about some of the challenges that impede our leadership ability. Let's talk about, I've never done this before. So you're put into a leadership position and you really don't know what to expect, but you really shouldn't be fearful of that, because people around you have confidence in you and they will help you on your journey. Let's talk about fear number 2. I could fail. In Toastmasters, we are in a organization where we can fail safe. And I don't mean that you want to really go out there and not do your best. But what I really want to convey to you is that you really want to put your best foot forward, even with the obstacles that are in front of you. Third, people might ridicule me or reject me. That no matter how likable you are as a person, there are always going to be some dejectors out there that, for no reason at all, they just don't care for you. They don't have any knowledge about who you are or what you do or what your goals are or what your mission is. But I really wouldn't worry about that, because the support team that's around you is really encouraging you to go forward. And last but not least, I could get hurt emotionally or perhaps financially. We all have those decisions in our life, but if we don't go out and take that risk, we'll never know what our full potential is. We really won't find out what our full potential is. So this is the point in the presentation where we're going to present you with a little homework. I hope you have a pencil and paper with you, because we're going to ask you, what type of leader do you want to be? There's a person out there that you probably have followed in their journey as a leader, whether they do it in the community, whether they do it in business, whether they do it in your family. Our parents can be leaders to us because they're our closest confidants in our family situation, or an uncle or extended family. In my experience, it was my uncle. He really encouraged me to go to school, to finish that track. And my mother as well, she taught me, she said that even if you didn't follow the traditional plan of going to school and you took a non-traditional path, it doesn't matter. You want to reach that goal, you set your mind on that goal and you move forward. So in this period right now, we're gonna ask you to write down some of those inspiring people that you want to aspire to, and we're gonna go over a plan to help get you there, and we're gonna go over the leadership personality styles, and last but not least, we're gonna also give you a little homework to take away with this presentation, because it wouldn't be righteous of me if I didn't give you a takeaway to work on moving forward so that you can be your best self. So we will give you 5 minutes to write down your leadership ideas that you want to aspire to, and we'll be right back. Just watch Malcolm. He is our timer for the day, and we will allow you to go ahead and put your notes down.
And I'm timing right now. Thank you. Got a minute left?
Okay. Thank you, Malcolm.
Thank you, everyone. No cheating. 5 minutes is up.
Thank you, Malcolm. We're going to go into our principle number 1. This principle is not my principle. I read a lot of leadership books, and I actually had a visit with this unique professor at Case Western Reserve, of all places. He's right in our backyard. He's Dr. Melvin Smith, and he's a professor for organizational behavior at Case Western Reserve. And he gave us these 5 points. I met him about 15 years ago when we started our employee resource group at my current place of employment. And he shared a lot of really good information about leadership. But for the sake of time, I can only share one of those concepts with you, and it's this one right here. The reason why I had you write down the type of leader you want to be, because that's the first discovery. That's your first goal, that ultimate leader that you want to be. When I started my journey in track in high school, I knew by my coaches and by my teammates that I had some ability, but I needed to enhance that ability. And I needed to put in more work than just the practice that was being provided for me. I also reached out to mentors that had a little more success than I did. That the level of success that they had was actually Olympic success. So one of my alumni from my high school had actually come back and helped train for the team, for the men's team, and he helped me to get out of the blocks. So I wanted to aspire to that. I thought that was what I was going to be, maybe an athlete. But you have to set a goal. And so you have the goal, which is the first discovery. And the second discovery is where you're actually at. You need those coaches, and you need those mentors, and you need your teammates to be with you, or if you're in a business situation, your coworkers to help you with your evaluation of yourself. And T.D. Jakes calls this a confidant. And this is somebody that is there for you, that can actually tell you when you need to improve on a situation, and they won't leave your side. They'll be supportive in that regard. And that's where we need to evaluate ourselves. But the third discovery is the learning agenda. Are we going to write down the things that we need to do to get to that area of excellence that we really want to pursue? I mean, because we can be either committed or just compliant. If somebody says that, you can fill a role, leadership is really about the process. It's not about a role that you have, but what talents you can lend to that effort. And also, when you are in that learning agenda and you're in that process, you want to use the best techniques. In my example about track, I wasn't necessarily using the best techniques to get out of the blocks to run my races. And I had a really unusual style of running, and I had to perfect that and shape that so I could become more efficient in my track running. And last but not least, we need to foster trusting relationships, and that is a mentor that will not only stick with you through the process that you're going through right now, but made the process going forward as a relationship that can push you to be a better leader. In the grand scheme of things, when it was all said and done, and I come to the process of my track career, I actually was voted captain, and our relay track teams actually broke a couple of school records in the process. So I didn't know I was that much of an influence on the people around me, but they really supported me in my effort because they admired the hard work that I did, and I admired the hard work that they did, and we accomplished a really great thing in the end. So this is the first principle. As we move into the second principle, this is about personality types, or temperaments as we call them. And we all have them. There's a primary temperament and a secondary temperament that that is inside of us. And the first temperament is popular sanguine. These are very extroverted, people-oriented people. They're very talkative is some of their strengths. They're great storytellers, and they like new ideas. You've probably seen some of these people in social settings. They're like probably the life of the party, you know, because they like people, and they really have a strong, aggressive communication acumen when they go. And these are some of the leaders that we notice and acknowledge when we are looking for a higher level of leadership. The areas of improvement for popular sanguine are trouble prioritizing or disorganization. They aspire to so many new ideas, they don't know which one to do first. So a mature popular sanguine will probably get associated with somebody that has better organizational skills. And when they pair those organizational skills with their ability to communicate and be around people, they can, we say some of these people like Tony Robbins, he's a real energy guy, and he's probably in this paradigm right now, or Les Brown. He's probably in this paradigm, and it's okay if you're not, if their leadership style doesn't fit this paradigm, because we're going to talk about some more. The second paradigm is the peaceful phlegmatic. Now, they are very low-key people. My father is a peaceful phlegmatic. He's a man of very few words, but I learned a lot from him because he's just so calm in all situations that I've learned to be calm in those situations as well. And it's comforting when you're around somebody that has some confidence and that they don't really show their anxiety to a great degree, but they're great students of anything that they put their minds to. And they are also just very astute about things around them. Areas of improvement for a peaceful phlegmatic is it's hard to pique their interest. It's hard to know if they're really excited about something. And that's something they probably need to work on. But they're an introverted type of personality type, and they're also people oriented. So they're probably in the party, but they need a little time to warm up before they start talking to people. So probably in that social situation, you probably know some people that they don't kick off right away, you know, at their social gathering, but they're happy to be there because it's where they want to be, and they also want to engage with people because they like people. Moving on to our third leadership attribute is the powerful clerics. Now, the powerful cholerics are born leaders. That doesn't necessarily mean that they're the best leaders. They're born leaders. They have the capability and the ability to lead groups, and they can run anything. I'm married to a powerful cleric, and she tells me all the time, you know, what process she's going to do and the things that she's going to engage in, and I love that about her. I really do. I love that about her. She's extroverted, but she moves more toward the task and not the people. Not that they can't love people, but it will take some time for them because their acumen is set in an extroverted way, but they move toward tasks. So if they had a project at work, they would think about the task that they have to do and not necessarily the people associated with that, because that's how they think. It's not wrong. It's just the way they're built. And the areas of improvement with a powerful cleric is they're very bossy. I get that a lot with my lovely wife, but that's neither here nor there. I'll probably get in trouble for that. Well, they will take over anything. They're impatient at times, and they just need help with that because they like to get things done. And it's no disrespect to any of the other personality types or leadership types in this paradigm, but they're the hardest workers in this realm of personality temperament. And last but not least is the perfect melancholy. Their leadership attributes, they're introverted and they lean toward tasks. Now, if you see a perfect melancholy, you probably notice that they got a pocket protector and they're very neat about their clothes because that's just how they roll. They're very analytical. They have high standards on themselves, and they like lists and charts, and they follow the law to the letter. You know, if you said that, well, you know, if I went to the DMV and I wanted to get my license plates and stuff, well, you got to go there and you got to make an appointment ahead of time. A perfect melancholy would probably tell you that. It's like, oh, no, it should be fine. You know, any other personality type, but they won't do that. They'll make sure that they're there on time and they get their things done, and they'll do everything in order. The areas of improvement for perfect melancholy is they're withdrawn, they're a bit of a loner, they're too sensitive sometimes, and they can be pessimistic. They have a little bit of a negative tone to them. Believe it or not, that's my primary temperament. I'm a perfect melancholy, but it's closely followed by a powerful choleric. So that's why me and my wife get along, because mano a mano is there in our grand scheme of things. Moving on, now this is the takeaway, but we've talked about the type of leader that we want to be. We talked about the plan to develop to get to that higher level of leadership. And now we've talked about the personality types. Now you kind of understand the social network working around you, and that why do people behave the way that they do? If you have that knowledge, you will be better suited to have more success, because you understand their temperament, you understand their personality type, and you can deal with it because you know their strengths and you know the areas of improvement that they need to work on, and you can maybe pull them aside and say, you know what, that doesn't really lend to me that you really care about me. Maybe we can talk about this another way. But with all that being said, we have some areas of engagement that we really like to share with you today. And the first one is to find a self-help book that will help you. Now, I have, since 2013, I have been involved with an organization called Leadership, Life Leadership. And in that organization, they really gave us a set of materials that we could start reading to improve our leadership. And books are all over the place. But I have read a couple of bestsellers. Maybe you've known a couple of them. First one that comes to mind is 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, or 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership, or The Magic of Thinking Big, or Personality Plus. That was the paradigm of the second principle I just shared with you guys. Personality Plus by Florence Littar. I'm sorry, I forgot to give you that reference. But examples of books that will help us in our leadership is time management. We all need to manage our time better, including myself. And goal setting, that we set goals that are not too lofty, but that stretch us a little bit. And in Toastmasters, that it's the perfect storm. It's the perfect lab to exhort our leadership and to move forward in that leadership, and then be prepared when an opportunity comes to set us forward, and we'll already be prepared because we've been working on that. Or dynamics and communication and leadership. So I want you to decide today to start a pattern that's a little bit out of your comfort zone, that will set you on a path of greatness. But you need the information to move forward in that regard. And those are some great books. I also left with my moderator to put in the chat notes that some of the books that I have read, and maybe you've read those books, though, but they're great resources, and they're really something that will help you move forward. The second assignment that I would like to share with you is to find a mentor. I have several mentors. I have a career mentor. I have a Toastmaster mentor, which just happens to be my wife. I have a financial mentor. I have a relationship mentor. I have spiritual mentors. I mean, whatever area that you gravitate towards, and that you need to really find somebody that has more success in that area, so that you can be more confident to project that skill or ability or that gift that's inside of you. Then last but not least, a little disclaimer here. You also need to mentor somebody. And my mentoring relationship over the years has been probably one of the key elements that's helped me to be a better leader. Oh, thank you. And I just want to tell you about the journey that I've had with some high school students at my work. I work with high school students with autism, and I've done that for like 20 years. And it's been the most exhilarating experience that I've ever been a part of. The other experiences that I've had in this journey of leadership is also mentoring young people in science. I'm a big proponent of science. I work with engineers. I love, science shows and just that subject matter. And I had the opportunity to volunteer for Girls Go Science. Oh, thank you. Go Science. And that was just a great experience, because the young ladies I engaged with were just really excited about science. And last but not least, I became a junior achievement volunteer, and I have volunteered to teach a class at a local elementary. And it was 5th grade, and we had a ball with our curriculum and the exercise that we worked with them. It was a exercise in business, global business, and these kids just lit up when we came there to present our material. And last but not least, I would like you to volunteer for a cause. Toastmasters is a volunteer organization, but I'm talking about like from a charity standpoint. And the effort when you do that effort and go in, thank you, Malcolm. When you go into that effort of helping somebody, I've helped in the food bank, I've helped in volunteered for a number of things. And it's just an exhilarating experience. And last but not least, I would like to leave with you how effective leadership really works. Why do geese fly in a V formation? It's the help, the effort of the whole flock. The leader flaps his wings very hard so that he breaks the wind for the rest of the flock. It's a lot like NASCAR. When I drove NASCAR experience, I was behind the professional driver, and they call this process drafting. And what happens is the leader breaks the wind, and the car behind it can stay at the same speed and use less power. So at the opportune moment, the car can move out from behind the leader and jet past the teammate. And that's what we're really talking about here today. I hope that these principles and information that I shared with you today will help you to be a better leader, because you can be that leader inside you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lenard Taylor. Thank you very much. Great timing. And this was really information. I know you were giving the speech, but there were lots of chats going on. I took 3 notes. Leader, the difference between leader and manager. Now, I'd like to open up the chat box, or if you folks did take notes, I know you were chatting while the presentation was on. Feel free. We have about 5 minutes for a Q&A session. And there were a couple of chats I'd like to mention. Who's bossy, who's not, but I won't say any names. Feel free to chat them in.
Could you read them off to me, Malcolm?
Certainly.
Thank you.
There was one from Toastmaster Craig Garlick regards to your acronyms. I versus E is
right.
Introvert versus extrovert.
Correct.
Is P versus T people orientated or task oriented?
People oriented is the P in that acronym. The T is for task oriented people. Does that make any sense? Is that?
Yeah, I think it's more
the
of
question.
a charter grid, but I think conceptually, if we give the presentation to the folks, that would help. But yes, it was a lot of information. A couple things that was saying is regards to, oh, here's a new message. Here you go.
Thank you.
Oh, it was going regards to what makes a person task oriented, or I hate to use the word, but I'll just say from
go ahead.
The term is bossy.
Bossy? Okay.
Yes, I think you use, is that the second principle, or is that just innate nature in them?
That was in regards to powerful cholerics. They appear bossy. They will talk over you in their effort to communicate with you. Does that explain it?
Yeah, it
a little
does.
Better?
Yep.
Okay.
Any other questions coming in? Okay.
Yes, this is from Keith Billings.
Oh, hello.
Hello.
How you doing, Mr. Lenard? Great job, great job. I was wondering, in Discovery,
yes, sir.
You had mentioned some things. You said about goal, and then you said, where am I at? learning agenda,
Right.
trusting relationships. I missed the other one. It was like 4 or 5.
Oh, hang on one second. I know it offhand, but practicing that new best behavior. That's
after the
discovery
learning.
number 4.
4.
Yeah. Discovery number 1 is your ideal self. Discovery number 2 is your real self. Discovery number 3 is that learning agenda, that plan that you're gonna, work on to get to that goal. And then you're practicing their new best behavior because you're gonna work with a mentor with that new best behavior. And then to finally seal that new best behavior, you need a trusting mentor or relationship to carry that new relationship, that new skill. Keep that new skill at that new level.
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Here was another one from
Yes, sir.
Toastmaster Jake Steeder. How does your personality style impact the type of leader you want to be? Good question.
That's something you can't change inside because it's the way you are. In Personality Plus, there's a test there. I don't know what personality type you are, but there's a test there to say what type of leader you are, because I would think like the powerful sanguines and or the powerful cholerics will be more charismatic. They would be really creative in their language because they're extroverted, and the introverted leaders would be more strategic or more democratic in their approach to leadership. So I hope that helps you with your analogy of that, how the personality can affect your leadership.
Makes sense. It's part of you. It's your DNA.
Right. It's part of you. Yeah.
But
you can learn the other styles because you need to change as projects increase or whatever. You can't keep going with the one style. You have to learn the other ways of changing your leadership approach to make projects successful.
Good point. One actually, Toastmaster Taylor, is coming from me. What's the difference between a manager and a leader? Because
go ahead.
Yeah, because I think you said everyone wants to aspire to be a leader, but
sure.
Being a manager is a stepping stone.
Being a manager really, they're a type of leader, but they manage resources as opposed to when leaders are there, and sometimes your manager might be a leader, but they will work with you to make sure that you improve. They will pair you with somebody. A manager may not necessarily do that, because if you're not working out for them, they're going to look for another replacement, that can do what they want you to do. That's, from my estimation, that's the difference between a leader and a manager, because the leader is more people oriented. They're really looking at the point of how do I raise their ability, because they're struggling with something here. We want to give them another opportunity to get better at that. Or where a manager might not necessarily say, well, your resume said that you had such and such a skill. Well, why aren't you displaying that?
Yeah, so true. Manager is more of like task oriented, like you say, but
sure, very task oriented.
Leader is more of someone who can influence you.
Yes, correct.
Very good. And there was a survey sent out from Toastmaster Jones. If you could fill that out, and please, we have about 2 minutes left. First, I want to give applause to Mr. Lenard Taylor. Great presentation.
Thank you.
The one question was, can you share the presentation?
Oh yeah, I can.
Please.
If
That
you
would be
provide
great.
an email, or can you put it into the chat?
Sure, please.
Yeah.
If someone can send in that, or we could distribute that with the list.
Sure.
That'd be great. First, again, I'd like to acknowledge Mr. Taylor. Great speech. At this time, we got about 2 minutes left. Fill out the survey, and then we will distribute that back to Mr. Taylor. Now, again, on behalf of District 10 and me personally, thank you for spending your Saturday afternoon or evening.
Thank you.
Thank you for your participation and fill out an evaluation. The only thing I can say, one last parting words, I will present the list, your reading list, right, Mr. Taylor?
Yes, sir.
I will certainly send that out, or I'll put it to your, hey, this is certainly a lot cheaper than going to a Tony Robbins seminar. Think of it that way.
I hope so.
We learned a lot. Again, thank you very much. Great job.
Thank you. Thank you for attending.
Okay, now I present that back to the Zoom Toastmaster.